I can't say it any other way. It is my.
Oh man, did you think 20 years later we'd be here talking like this? Because I probably didn't think.
Oh nah.
Hold on, let's turn this on. You know this.
Nah, like. You just never could call it. You can't ever call it. Like you never know what the vibes are gonna be. You know what I'm saying, over time. But like,
no, it's just growing up.
Yeah.
I think it's really just growing up and shit like that. What up, people? This is Attention Whores Podcast. This is me, your only number one favorite attention whore, C.E.O. And I have a special guest with me right here today. This man I've known for a long time. About 20 years, almost the end of the 90s, bro.
Yeah.
97, 98, somewhere in that bracket.
Oh man,
because that's when I was first starting to be on.
We probably
Lauren Place and Andrews Ave.
Yeah, but we probably linked up early 2000.
A little later.
Yeah. Like I knew that y'all were coming around, but I don't think I linked up with y'all.
Yeah, I think the first time I met you was through an Impact party.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, had to be an Impact party or some shit like that.
Yeah, it definitely was one of the Q's joint.
Yeah, had to be that. So all right, we're 20 years. What the fuck?
20 years.
2 dimes and shit. What else you gonna do? You know what I mean? 4 nickels, whatever it is. This is AD.
What up?
What name would you like to go? You got
I go by AD mostly.
Okay.
People know me as AD Scholar. You know what I mean? But
I forgot that was the first one.
Yeah, I mean it still is. I mean I still go by Scholar. You know what I'm saying? But
okay.
AD.
Okay. Yeah, Poe just stuck with me.
Yeah.
Niggas was like, we ain't gonna call you POW, nigga. You better.
Yeah, POW got a little wordy.
Yeah, it was like,
it was letters.
It got like 3 syllables in one letter. It's like, nah, we ain't doing all that extra shit. Nah.
Poe definitely was doing that shit.
Yeah, it was either Poe or it was PO, and then I would have to go to shows and explain to niggas that's in the hood, like, no, I'm not an actual PO.
Right.
I was just like, let me just have. Bro, there's been times I used to go to the Pyramid all the time for Mental Springs shit. You know?
Right.
And he had like the hoodest motherfucker. I go there just to try out a song.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my song would be fucking they'd be like mad Elmo-ish songs and shit. Like I did Elmo there.
You was fucking creative.
Oh man. That's one thing that probably will always stay the same with me, man. I'm always thinking of like, all right, how can I do this? Or who haven't done that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, okay, because when you're in the same game doing shit like that, like right now, I ain't really doing music like that. I remember I was out. Shout out to my brother, lit homie Jack Pop, my brother. He's a travel agent. He in the A right now. I just went to DR with him. Yo, episode 2 is out. We out music group. We out travel group. I'm getting them mixed up. You know what I mean? Episode 2 is out right now. Go on YouTube. Go check that out. You know what I mean? I was just talking about my brother Dre Shreef, and he was talking about music and shit. And I was like, bro, I just do it literally like a hobby now.
Mm-hmm.
Like before, it was like a hobby into getting it to make it my lifestyle. Now it's just like if I feel it, I do it.
Yeah.
And it's no pressure to me. Before, everything was like, oh, I need to have a club record. Oh, I need to have this type of record because this is what niggas is feeling. Now I'm just like, I don't really care. So that's the freedom I like with it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely creativity all the time. Definitely a lot of creativity when it comes to all the shit I'm trying to come up with and all that shit. But you were kind of like my first CEO when it comes to like, you was like the underground CEO. The Tyrant himself, the Tygrent.
Oh man.
Yeah. Why? Let's start off since we're going back there. Why Tygrent? I think you explained it.
Like I think I'd been working with a shorty at the time, and we started working, and then we ended up with the name. I don't even remember how we got.
You said it was like a mix between animals, like a tiger and something.
Yeah,
else.
It was something. I can't. It's been so long that I actually have this call to it. Motherfuckers looking like Thundercats and shit. You know what I mean?
Was that a symbol?
It looked like the Thundercat symbol.
We had like a bootleg Thundercat.
Yeah, low key hockey.
Hockey.
But yeah, I think it came from like doing parties.
Okay.
It was started with parties.
This is in the Bronx?
Yeah, it was in the Bronx in Manhattan. right when I came out of college, and we were just trying to find other things to do, and I think we came up with Tygrent just because. Like, I wish I could actually remember why that was.
Well, how long? All right, let's try to think. I know it's a long time, but how long did you have go? Like 2 years, 3 years?
Under that name?
Yeah.
We were probably rocking maybe about 4 or 5, about 4 years. We were rocking
4 years.
Banner. Yeah. From like 2000 to 04.
To like 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then
everybody started diversifying. You know what I mean, what they was doing and everything else. But yeah, a lot of things, everything was under the band of Tygrent.
Well, because you had that, but then you also had, like, I remember you had Raw Impact.
Yeah, but they were, I mean, they were their own entity.
Right.
But they were still kind of under that banner.
Well, what we ended up becoming was kind of like, we were the promoter end of everybody's situation.
This guy was, before like, you could do shit on your phone and your computer on it. This shit was, Mr. I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna be the designer. I'm gonna be the rapper. I'm gonna produce if I can. I'm gonna promote this shit. I'm gonna A&R everybody's shit.
Listen, man, it was like too many of us that had talent to not have something happening. So my thing was like, yo, whatever we gotta do, we plug in. But I still wanted to be creative too. So it was just like trying to figure out how to be balanced in that.
And then trying to figure out, you know, I remember Impact built the studio because of the whole situation, right?
Yeah.
And everybody was trying to put it on that. We would be coming out to the city all the time.
Yeah, there was a lot of work being done at that time, bro. Like,
man.
Like, for all the looking back at it now, a lot of, I think, the progress that we all have gotten, like, have achieved.
That was like a training ground.
That's what it was, bro.
It was a training ground.
There was a lot of breeding happening in that.
It was definitely a training ground, because you talking about 2000, so I'm about 20. I'm not at first. So high school, I first started rapping in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure about rapping until I went to college. That's when I was like, okay, I could do this. And that's when I started getting more into the battle aspect of rap, writing and all that shit, and being more disrespectful and shit. I was doing shit. I was a very, very, very disrespectful individual.
It was very combative that time. But like, I think in general,
you young men, it's going to be combative because that's what we all trying to prove something, whether it's to ourselves or to people around us.
Right.
We always going to try to prove something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a lot of alpha male head nodding type
Big
shit
time.
going on.
Big time.
I didn't even realize the last time. This is happening. Much love to Asa.
Yeah.
Asa had passed. How long has it been now?
We're going on, I think, our second 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
So about a year and a half ago, when Asa passed, I went to show her respects. Everything happened so quick. We went to the cigar spot, and I ran into this guy. First of all, I already had Static do that. So shout out to Static because we talked about some of the stuff we want to talk about. Right. And I said, oh, what's up, man? I didn't see what you doing. I didn't know what you were doing. What
it's been a minute.
Yeah. Niggas just been doing what they had to do. So I was like, yo, when you have time, come on the pod, let's talk. Let's hash some shit out. You know what I mean? It took 6 months, but it's fine.
Yeah, listen. Yo, bro. Real talk.
Nah, it's all good.
I'm never sitting idle too long.
Now you move around. You got stuff. You got stuff going on.
I can't be still.
No.
You know, for numerous reasons. So yeah, but I'm just glad we were able to do it. You know.
Yeah.
And you stayed on me. I ain't gonna even hold it. You know what I mean? Like
I stayed on you, but when I don't hear it, I let you ride. Cause I'm like, let them do. Cause I've asked mad people like, yo, come through. I don't let that like deter me and some shit like that. Just like, all right. You know what I mean? And then somebody else, like, you just hollered at me out the blue, and I was like, I was trying to set up something else. I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
I can come through and then I can build on the other one.
I wanted to stick to my word, man, and be like, no, I'm going to pull up and I'm going to do it. It's just the circumstances have been crazy.
No, I know you got stuff, you got family, you got businesses, you got things to, you know, get handled and shit. Like, let's take it back to, we're going to get out the woods, but I ain't talked to you for about 20-some-odd, 15 years and shit. And these people here, they don't know this. Like, they don't know nothing past Nothing before Elmo, I don't think most people know.
Oh, fair enough.
Like, that probably know me now.
Right.
Like, they shit probably be like, oh, there's the Elmo guy that started doing all this other shit. You were there when Elmo was, when I was taking Elmo to the hood.
Yeah.
Like, yo, what are you going to do with this record? Like, yo, watch.
That was such a unique record, but I also think it was such a unique time. There was room. There was space for you to do a record like that and be like, yo, if it worked, it worked.
My first record I ever recorded as a whole record was in 2000. Mm-hmm. Before then, I did freestyles on everybody's songs in the 90s. In 2000, my first song I ever wrote I ever recorded was a suicide record. It was Either I Killed Myself. That was the first record I ever recorded. The second record was I Don't Want to Go to Bed.
I Don't Want to Go to Bed.
So you go from some dark, depressing shit to some completely kiddie, fun shit. So Elmo is right there. So I'm able to kind of, okay, this is what they like now. They like the dancey shit and some kiddie shit. I could flip it, and that's the era when I stopped cursing. Right. I went from Elmo. I did a few songs and I didn't curse it. I was like, I'm gonna push myself, and I did that for a while until I said,
you know what's so crazy is if you think about it, like there's so many bags that we didn't even know could be had. That space, bro.
If we
Hip Hop Harry had nothing, bro. But like I'm just saying, like this, all that teen, like we didn't have what was that like? There's like a whole hip hop bop that's like teeny bopper, kiddie hip hop.
Oh yeah, like the stuff they put on for like that little kid now version.
Yeah, and like we wasn't even thinking about that back then.
We're young. We wet behind the ears. You're probably talking to promoters that's doing stuff, but you're still like the up and coming dude. So it's like, all right, whatever.
And you still gotta like earn your stripes.
Yeah, you gotta do that. So it's kind of tough trying to figure that out. Like if it's just like any older man would say, if I knew now, then what I know now, of course you would rule the fucking world. I mean that was Back to the Future, man. Some shit like that. So yeah, man, like you came up with shit like remember Quality Ignorance?
Yeah.
And you coined that. Yeah. And later on, they kind of flipped that to something else that was kind of like Quality. We had Quality Ignorance. It was like Pure something. It was a couple other phrases we used to say.
Yeah, because I think we often we refer to you guys as the Jersey Boys. Right.
Yeah.
And we're like, y'all do Quality Ignorance.
No. Quality Ignorance was we would say the most disturbing things at the wrong time to get your attention.
But it sounded so crazy that you were just like, that makes sense.
But hold up. Sir, I'm not mentioning certain people, but it's all respect. Certain people were crazy.
Yes.
I was the angry one.
Yes.
I was the very, very, very angry one.
I would agree.
My music was angry. I was angry. I was pissed off at somebody or something or myself.
When they describe the term chippy,
you gonna hit me with something my father used to say. How fucking dare you?
But I think before I even knew what chippy meant,
it was me.
When I think back to it, it was like you like.
I was angry. I didn't like myself.
Ready to go, bro.
I didn't like myself. I was very depressed and just in my own feelings about it. I felt people didn't give me a chance. I feel like people didn't give me a chance a lot of times. I thought like, yo, if only they could hear the shit I'm doing now.
Right.
And it's like, and then if like you pitch me the ball, I end up fucking it up. So then it's like, oh, now I'm back to being chippy ass motherfucker. So,
it was an interesting thing to realize that like
I was very angry.
But it was you could tell the circumstances didn't help that, right? Like.
I'd make it worse.
Right.
I'll be honest. Yeah. I do this so it's therapeutic for me too. So I could get this off and I'll be like, I said that, so it don't have to bother me.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But I was very. I'd look if a situation was like sometimes I'd look for the smoke. Like I'd be like, Adrian gonna be in there? Okay.
And it felt like that. It felt like that. And I'm like...
And then, my brother friends be like, yo, and I'd start so much shit.
Oh, friends. That was... Ent. You talking? You pulling names, bro?
They government. That's my brother. So
no, but I'm just I haven't spoken of that.
But kind of, you're kind of like you and him are similar to a point.
Yeah.
Like y'all have that very stoic, off-put. Like I know what I'm saying, and this is the information. And
very
none other than shit. Yeah.
Very bottom line.
Straight bottom line. Yeah. Like, what do you mean? No. Yeah. You're more with it.
Yeah.
He's a little more lenient.
Yeah.
You're more with, and I think did y'all knew each other before I knew you?
Yeah. We were being creative together at one point, and then like his style and my style just didn't match up. I think over time, but like,
yeah,
you know what I mean.
His style was way better now. I think he did a lot of work. He thought too much about his stuff.
But he was a poet.
Yeah,
you
but also you got to make sure it look like shit. I don't write most of the time. I only write if I write now it's because I know I need to remember it and I can't wait to the studio or some shit like that. But like most of the time, like not, and I don't suggest this for everybody, but if you could do it. Not writing gave me the freedom to express it better. Because when you're writing, when you're reading it, and you're sounding robotic and shit and stuff like that. So I think he was thinking too much into it and then just letting it
come
flow
out.
more.
Yeah.
But he's way better.
I haven't seen him in a minute.
They got the Peace Poets and they traveled. Everything that he said, him and his team said they was gonna do. When I was rolling with them too. I used to get at them about it, but now they started doing it. So I stepped back like, y'all, everything y'all talking about, y'all doing. Y'all trying to help the people. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah, they still, they deal with kids, with brotherhood, sister, soul, and all that. So they help all them and stuff like that.
I love that.
But yeah, it was an angry time, man. I had a beef with everybody. I had a beef with everybody, man. I can't help but say that I didn't. I had a beef with everybody for the most part. Yeah, we almost had a fight when I first met you. It was on Andrews Ave. I just remember the night. That's it. I don't remember what happened. But I never knew why we not. It seemed like when I bring things to you, you'd be like, all right.
like my response to it.
It wouldn't be all right. Somebody else was a favorite, but that was cool. At the time, I just wanted to be like, yo, I'm here too, and I'm doing this.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I kind of got blended in with the favorite, as far as how it moved.
Yeah, but I think, at least I remember how I always viewed it is, you got to have people in the lineup, right? That was always my thought.
Okay.
There will be a first. There's always going to be a
first.
You
had, who do we have? Because, Raw Impact was their own entity, but they was there.
Right.
So, you got R&R, you got Impact.
Right.
Do we have FaZe as far as this shit, too?
FaZe was in the mix with Static.
Okay.
Right? Because
they didn't have a name like Bug Nanas, though.
No, they weren't. They were just FaZe and Static.
Okay.
Yeah, FaZe 1 and Static.
Okay.
And for me at that time, if I were to stop doing everything, I would have solely went hard body managing them. That's what I would have been.
FaZe and Static, just them two.
Yeah, because I had financially invested in Static because I had believed in him like crazy. Like I was just like I saw the work, and like my relationship with Q, with Impact and R&R, that was like me and Impact is family. So like at the end of the day, like
shout out to Impact Hideaways on the West
Coast. You know what I mean? And so like that's family. But like, so for me, FaZe was the first one out the clip, right? That was my thought.
Okay.
And then my thing was then, all right, who's gonna be the next progression? Because the idea is you got to have it lined up. If we're gonna have one person go, then like follow up. And so you were in the lineup. The problem was
I was fucking everything up.
you was so agitated. That
I was agitated. Like
I was just like, yo, we could do something, but he's so aggy all the time. Like I don't know what
the one thing I think kept me around realistically probably was my beats.
Yeah. Like you had to.
I was Ye, and this is why the Ye symbolism goes. Like I was a dude that I could rap, but nobody took me seriously. I had no beats, so I made my own beats. he did the same.
Right.
The beats got so much bigger than him.
Right.
Or made the beats made him.
Right.
That I got to that point, and it was like, well, nigga, I could still.
Yeah, you had a combination of both, right? Because when you talk about your particular section, right, your particular collective, you were the only one in your collective that actually had focus. Like, you were actually focused, but you were agitated, but you were focused, and you had the production skill, and you were still working on it, right?
Yeah,
so
this is when I'm starting.
Right.
Even though I had some good shit, I'm learning. I told Chad, I said the beat battles was the best shit for me.
Oh, man.
Because it made me step out of my comfort zone on, oh, I could do this.
Yeah.
Because before I was just making anything I like that sound. It was sounds with drums all over the place.
Right.
And snares all over the place. Like, because I'm listening to like scores and shit like, shit like some John Williams shit, but it's not clicking to hip hop heads.
Right.
When I got to the beat battle, it was like, oh, okay.
Right.
You know, I learned how to sample. It was a rap.
You had musicality in what you were doing. It's whether or not people could actually work with the energy. And that was the biggest thing for me. It was just like, from an energy standpoint, like, Bo can do things. But sometimes
Poe is a risk.
It's like a struggle every single time.
Risk.
Right. And so, but we
I was no, I gotta say pause. I was Orlando Bloom before.
Yo, bro. There was some of that element. You know what I mean?
I was talking crazy like that nigga. I swear I was. I definitely was talking crazy like that.
But you know what's funny is that during that time it started like we were all crew, right? And so you got dudes in your crew that like sometimes are just gonna be knuckleheads. You got dudes in your crew are gonna be like more emotional. Some cats are gonna be aloof. So you just kind of embraced it. Like there was a point for me where I just embraced it. But like I didn't.
It was some jealousy too. It was a lot.
But I thought it was good. I thought it was actually good that there was some. It
wasn't all jealousy. It was certain jealousy on certain people. But I think when a certain individual was presented. Not the person that I was with, not that person, but a certain other person was presented, and he started getting hailed as like, oh shit,
right.
And I'm like, nigga, I brought him to y'all niggas,
right.
And then when he got his shit straight, he dusted everybody and went off and did whatever the fuck he wanted.
Yeah. But you know,
and I'm like,
in retrospect, man, all of that stuff was needed. You know what I'm saying? All of it was needed because, like, one, you needed to be in a space where there was that competitive energy in order for all of us to kind of grow, right? Like there's no other way to describe it. Like, you need other cats that make you be like, yo, but I'm nice too, bro. I'm nicer than you, matter of fact.
You know what it was? I'm gonna tell you why I didn't come. Why I was angry. I was angry with myself, but why I couldn't do that. I wasn't confident at that time.
That's fair.
I was confident in what I could do musically, but everything else
was off.
Was like, these niggas ain't fucking with me, so fuck it.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
And I think that was the thing that always confused us. Because the conversation wasn't just with me. It confused us.
Oh, I bet all y'all talked about the situation.
But it was one of those things that's just like, yo, like, you here, bro. Like, we obviously fuck with you to a degree. You be on your shit. But, like, we get it. Like, cats can be angsty.
And I don't mean to keep going to this, but it's good because I ain't talked to him in a while.
Yeah.
I think, what was I going to say? Yeah, niggas go through it, but I think I was just so in that spot. I couldn't get out of my way for the life.
That's fair.
I couldn't get out of my way.
That's fair. That makes sense.
And I was trying. I was like, yo, my mind is like, if you only knew what the fuck is going on in my head right now.
Yeah.
Oh man. And I'm not saying, and I'm the type of nigga like right now. Thank God for weed. I'm not. You don't understand. Anger is an issue.
Yeah.
This helps it. This helps it. So
I understand. I medicate sometimes.
I might ran a little bit on the line here and there just because I'm like, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? But apart from that, I could care less. Like, I'm just gonna, you know what I mean? Yeah. You're right. But it took me a while. Back then, I was only drinking.
And the drinking will do a different thing than the weed.
For a
fact. For a fact.
Woo! The drinking to bring out an issue.
Like we was drinking a lot of brown back then.
Well, I'm back on brown. See, I can't do light no more. I stick to the brown. I stick to whiskey. The shit that work.
Right.
But you talking about back in the day when niggas was drinking whatever they could get. 99 bananas.
Yeah. 99 bananas.
Some apples.
But it was always
Cisco.
Jesus was always. There was always a bottle of E&J. It felt like.
Yeah, but see, E&J was always a low budget Hennessy.
Right.
And then Paul Masson is on that range too.
Yeah, the Paul Masson was definitely there.
God.
Peach.
Paul
Masson Peach.
Remember me with the Bacardi-O?
Yeah, and the Bacardi-O.
I used to.
That was when we was doing good. When the Bacardi-O came out.
If I knew better, I would have been like, yo, let me do a record talking about this shit and have me promote these niggas.
Yeah.
Because I'm always drinking this shit. And it was nasty because it was citrus, but I thought I was on some shit. It was not the way. It definitely wasn't the way.
But we felt like something when we was drinking it.
Nah, we definitely did. Alright, so let's get into real quick. I want to get out the past right quick, but before we get out of it, we got Brotherhood. Is that Andrews Ave? Is that because you lived up around the?
I was in Montgomery.
Yeah, because I went to your spot a couple times.
Yeah.
You had a nice spot. I remember. I just remember it was space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And y'all had like a party or two there.
Yeah. I'm at that crib now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's So wait. So you in the Bronx. I got the Bronx. The BX.
Yeah.
Right fucking now.
I've never left.
No. The temperature. Not this temperature I'm sweating from.
What?
But the temperature in the Bronx.
What are we talking about?
Nigga.
That's what's going on out there?
Nigga.
Yo, you know what's funny? It's funny. You know.
No, don't give me that.
Nah. If you from it, you don't even feel half of the stuff that they talking about.
No.
What you seeing is money coming into the Bronx right now.
Oh,
There's
okay.
a lot
So
of bread
no. Because what they're showing. All right. What they show. People call me a conspiracy. Everything. Fuck all your shit. I don't give a fuck. I just don't trust it. I don't trust the news for whatchamacallit, but the shit that is being shown, it's taking me back to the 80s. It's
Some people
taking
feel
me
like
back to the 80s because the carefreeness of it. Like, they know
the buckets.
They whatever buckets. They know there's cameras everywhere. They know you for the most part. If something happens, for the most part,
right.
In the 80s, when people disappeared, it's like, all right, they disappeared.
Right.
You gotta be really searching to find out what's going on.
Right.
Now, niggas don't care, and I'm hearing they just running up on regular civilians is not just the option.
So, comparable to the 80s, I grew up in them. So I know what that looked like. It's not the 80s. It's different. Because what's happening
is the attitude that, but the area and the money, because the 80s we had a lot of buildings, we had a lot of.
I wouldn't even say the attitude in the 80s, because at least the attitudes in the 80s, people was on it. Like if the block was hot, it was hot for real, right? And truth be told, like you understood that there was warfare. The 80s was a lot of warfare. There was a lot of territory work that was going on. Right now, what you got is a bunch of kids who are trying to vie for some type of cred. So they're doing things. Yeah, bro. Like they're just trying to be seen, or they're on. They don't have OGs putting them on the way in the 80s. At least you still have OGs.
Let's be 100. Realistically, the last OGs got locked up around the late 70s, early 80s. Like as far as
you had cats in the 80s and the early 90s.
All right, you're right. Late 80s, early 90s, because then they started hitting everybody with the Ricos and shit like that.
Sure. You're right. So you still had some heads, and what would happen is you still had structure. Right now, you had so many new crews pop up, and when the blood thing started happening, that changed the movement too, because we wasn't on that.
Yeah, but see,
that shifted the game.
I left the Bronx in '93.
Right.
When they popped.
Right.
Like I literally left right before early '93. So by the summertime, Bloods was in the city.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, if I was there, it would have been over for me.
Right.
Because I used to come to check France, and he was on Orange. I'll be like, yo, my brother Cliff down there, his baby mama down there. I'm gonna go check him. I had, this is like 97 or some shit.
Yeah.
I had the sky blue FUBU jersey
Oh,
You remember them shits, the big shits.
Yeah.
And I'm walking down there not thinking nothing. My brother's like, yo, you sure you gonna go down there like that? I'm like, yeah, what the fuck? Right. I'm oblivious. I'm living out here now.
Right.
You know, I'm hearing chirping and shit.
Right.
I go down there and I seen some people I knew, and they just grilled me.
Yeah.
They just grilled me.
Yeah, it started to shift.
And I was like, what's the attitude? And then those people disappeared, and now there's a whole bunch of motherfuckers in there.
Yeah, and I think what you're seeing now is you got a lot of cats who's trying to get cred, and then they broke. You got a lot of motherfuckers who ain't got no money. And so they trying to figure out how to get their hands on something, and so they start acting desperate.
The thing that happened with the Hispanic deli worker, I believe, and that happened in Bronx.
Yeah. Oh, you talking about the kid who ended up getting
stabbed up
by the Bodega Junior? I think his name was Junior.
He says Bodega Junior.
No, because I think it was through the Trujillo gangs or whatever that
well, I don't know how.
They wear the lime green or some shit. I think it was.
Oh, okay. So they already had.
I think they had. So I think they were doing. I don't think the kid even had a beef with him. I think they were
I heard it was over some chips.
Yeah, it was something silly. But again, you got no control. You know what I'm seeing right now in the Bronx is it depends where you're at. I'm on the west side.
Yeah, the best side. Because you and I know it's the best side. Where
yo,
hip hop was started.
Yo,
they keep thinking it's
know.
the South Bronx. I don't like that fact, man. They think that hip hop was born in the South Bronx.
I mean, technically, we're in the South Bronx because we're bottom. We're south.
But we're the West Bronx, though. It took me a minute to figure that out, but I was like, yo, we on the west side. Because the whole time I'm thinking,
we're not.
You can see it right there.
Yeah, we're not on Hunts Point. We're not Bruckner.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's where you have some stuff going on at. See?
Yeah. So I'm over there now, and that's where the money's coming in now because of the waterfront. So there's a lot of waterfront property that's getting
Someone's buying it up.
Oh yeah.
Someone's buying it up.
We've been fighting them for like a minute. We've been fighting developers in the Bronx for a minute, but you know what I mean. But after a point, you know, they're gonna come in and do what they're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? You can hold them off for so long, but at least we're staying in the mix.
So a lot of people broke their deal.
Always. The property is the cheapest in the city. You know what I mean? You just want to say it
though. You said always?
Yeah, that's always that area has always been in high demand. I appreciate it. And so now they just have the opportunity to get in there, but enough of us kept our feet in the sauce that we're part of it.
Okay.
So that's one of the positives that are happening right now in the Bronx. But like, yeah, you got a lot of young guys, young kids out there who just trying to figure out their way and they don't got no guidance, so they acting up. The gun, you hear a lot about the guns out on the street, people getting shot. I think the other day, 2 days ago, a woman got shot with her daughter. They survived, but they got grazed. Another girl got shot like a block away from them.
These are Australian, right?
These are Australian. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I see what you're saying in terms of the civilians. Like, it's people just being reckless. Is it the hottest? I don't know if we're the hottest per se.
Now let's be clear. The Bronx has always been wild. Like
it has been.
No,
compared to every
other borough has their little, like, Brooklyn is the loudest. Harlem was the flyest. On a shallow surface level. Shallow surface level. Flyest, loudest. QB, them niggas are quiet to me too. They scare me. They scare me like the Bronx.
But think about Queens.
They have a suburbs, but they still got some wild shit over there too.
Right. But they still didn't get the same. They didn't give you the same.
This is why the Bronx has always been wild to me. The Bronx niggas, for the most part, aren't that loud. Right?
Interesting.
When it comes to them repping where they're from, Bronx niggas will be quiet. A lot of Bronx niggas quiet because they're trying to get your girl. Niggas don't know that's what it is.
We would definitely pull up in your borough to bag your shit.
We will camouflage to anything.
Yeah, that's
and then after the fact, they're like, I'm in the Bronx. Concourse right there. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's real talk. I used to joke that the beef between Brooklyn and the Bronx is because at the end of the day, the Bronx was to pull up on Brooklyn and be like, yo, you're not treating your shorties right, so
we're going to handle that.
We're going to bag them. That's it.
Yeah, we're quiet like that. But when it comes to, and I'm, from what I've seen and what I've been around, when it comes to savagery, okay, like who I just listened to And he was like, I'm from the Bronx. I'm all right. I was just listening to. I was listening to all types of podcasts. I was listening to Mero, the light skinned one.
Yeah, Jesus and Mero.
He's on the Math podcast, and he said some shit recently. He said, "Oh, I thought I had to fight." So he said when he came down to fight, he said, "Oh no, I'm from the Bronx. I'm looking for the first thing." And that was as soon as he said that, I said, "Yeah, that's me. I'm looking for the first thing. Yeah. It don't matter what it is. We gonna use it. Yeah. We gonna abuse it. You know what I mean? We gonna throw your head into the hydrant or some regular shit, and that's regular fighting to me."
Yeah. What we not finna do is lose. So what we not finna do is lose. So whatever gotta be done, gotta be done. You know what I'm saying? Whatever gotta be done, gotta be done. But yeah, I mean, you know.
That's what I talk about.
But I'm a Bronx dude all day. So like sometimes I gotta tell people, I'm like, yeah, you could look at it and say the Bronx is wild, but also like we got heart, bro. Like the Bronx probably has the biggest heart.
That's probably why it's so extra with it, because
the passion is big, bro. Like,
you know what I mean? Like
other than Staten Island, no burn.
No,
people front on us all the time.
No,
front on the Bronx all the time.
No, Staten I heard is wild too. But Staten they have like their Italian community too that kind of mixes with that.
Right.
Like this part of Jersey is very, you got Italian people over here. And they do, you know, that's that whole Sopranos. The real bada bing right there.
Down the block?
On 17.
Oh, that's right.
It's called Satin Dollars, but it's not called bada bing. It's right there. It's like, you know what I mean? I used to go to the pool hall and all them niggas, I don't know if they in it or not in it, but they in there. They there. All right. Hey,
that's funny.
Tony, I like this guy. He got some balls on him. Hey. Italian motherfucker. But, yeah, man, the Bronx is crazy, you know what I mean? But what can we get into, man? We want to get into 45-minute King right quick. Well, it's so much shit. Oh my God!
I think that story is one of the legendary stories from that time.
Okay, so the story goes. Well, from what I understand, because I might have went over it briefly with Static, but the story goes. Yeah, I did go over a little bit with Static. But the story goes. We were at Impact's studio, I believe. Or his spot, and he was making a beat, and then you was like, "Yo,
we should do something to get everybody on it."
Yeah. And then was everybody at the house at that time? Because we went from the Bronx to Queens, and I was like,
but no, I don't think we did it the same day. I think we had made the beat one day, and then we were like, "Yo, we should do a posse cut," because we didn't have one. We didn't have a crew record, and so I was like, "Yo, this would be great for it."
Okay. And
so then I think. It might have been.
I had that song up until I can't know what the song. I used to have that shit.
Yeah, I don't even remember. I don't even remember what the song sounded like.
I knew. No, that's the first time I was like, "Oh, you could play instruments live," and that shit picks it up like that. The homeboy went in there with the guitar, and I was like, "Oh, he made that." I
think FaZe might have had the connect for that studio.
Okay.
It might have been FaZe's connect.
Okay.
And then we went out there. And then, you know, everybody was going in there doing their thing.
We went out there late, too, like around 8 or 9, and we was out there for a minute.
It was a late night session.
Yeah, it was definitely that.
And you know, everybody was doing their thing. And, you know, I just remember it was your turn.
All right, it goes like this, nigga. I had 8 bars. I would forget what I said. I thought I was fly with whatever I said. I thought. Anytime I say some shit, I'm thinking it's fly. I don't give a fuck if niggas don't. As long as I'm entertained,
I'm fire 8 bars you ever heard in your life, my nigga.
It only took 45 minutes, son. 45. So, it was his mic, yo. It was that nigga Mike.
This is
it was
Mike.
that nigga Mike. Because I guess I said P.O. I must have said my name with a P, but the P kept popping.
Yeah.
The P kept popping, which is because I could have flipped that. But yeah, the P kept popping. And I had to keep on doing it. For like, they said, "Oh, yo, you been in there for 45 minutes and shit."
Yeah, because you just kept having to do takes.
And was I the last verse or almost the last?
Almost the last.
I was like the second to last.
Yeah. You were almost the last.
And then someone else went in, and then I remember it like yesterday because his fucking his booth was a bathroom. It was a bathroom, like a literal bathroom, a small one, and the mic was in there. and I'm in there, and then someone went, and then he went and played the guitar, and I was like, oh, that shit came out even better.
Yeah, that was. You know what's so crazy? I feel like you.
Fun.
One, we were having fun. Two, I felt like you got so much heat for that, but really, it wasn't really that crazy.
It was just. Listen, let me tell you something.
When you think about like how sessions can go.
No, it wasn't that crazy, but it's me, and I've been joked on a lot. That's kind of where my personality comes with the whole rah rah rah, because it's all like suppressed shit that I'm just like, oh, I'm getting that. That's why I'm so extra. Like, if anybody goes now, I'm on them more. So it's that, and just like the whole world with our phones, social media has become real life, and real life is high school. And if you're in high school, you're going to joke on the motherfuckers. But if it was me, you, and another person, it probably wouldn't have been that bad.
Right.
But now you got me, you, and
it was like 8 of us in there, bro. It was so many heads, man.
Yeah, Static, Phase, me, Impact, you, Smarty, R&R, and that was it, right? Or maybe somebody else.
I think somebody else was on there. We had somebody else. I can't remember off the top of my head. But again, we were trying to get everybody on the song.
It might have been 4 bars. I don't know how many bars.
No,
it might have been 4 separate bars.
I think we had split it, and I think we even the way we formed.
Oh yeah, because it was 2. Yeah, it was 4 separate bars. I had 8 bars altogether, but it was like 4 bars.
Yeah, 4. Yes, that's what it was.
I'm sorry to remember. And we had like a little mini hook.
Yeah.
Where we come back. Yeah.
Because I think we were all doing like the round robin, like you go 4, you go 4, you go 4, you go 4, and then you come back in. Yeah. I mean, listen, I thought, I know I learned that day. I was definitely
not to do that shit.
Yo, I was like, when you got this many motherfuckers, yo, bro, you gotta make sure.
Your way of performing, and your way, you have a presence.
Right.
You have that. I call it like that. You are the kid in school that becomes like class president. You're that personality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, all right, I'm gonna take it on for everybody. You're like Optimus Prime.
Put it on the chin.
Honestly, you're kind of like Leonardo. You know the leader, but certain people just don't fuck with him.
Right.
You're kind of
so
that
you know
guy.
what's funny? That example is perfect because I was Leo and you was Ralph.
Yeah.
Yo, bro. But at the end of the day, it was like, yo, there's no real, like, there's not an actual issue. It's just personality type.
It was, personality type, bumping heads, and me just being an asshole. Like, it really was. Like, and his ego, too, because that's all backed by ego. It's like, your ego, you're going to try to protect your well-being.
You know what I mean? In retrospect, I could definitely say that was probably one of the biggest things that contributed to a lot of the strife back then. We all had our egos, right?
Yeah.
And like I know for me, it's funny to hear you talk about like the insecurities that you had because I had the same exact ones. Like
we're not going to, but we're not at that time. We're not going to talk about, especially especially in early 2000s. Niggas wasn't talking like that.
No.
Motherfuckers wasn't just being like
had no awareness really of the fact that was kind of kicking in. But like you recognize that we were all. Here was the other thing. We was all weirdos. Like, I wanted to keep it 100. Like, sometimes people be trying to act super cool, but I'm like, yo, if you're creative, you're fundamentally a weirdo. Yo.
Well, we wasn't the cool kid. I tell everybody, like, in school, I was never the cool kids, but the cool kids respected me.
Right.
Because I did what I did, and they respected because I did what I did.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, all right, I can't be with y'all,
but I'm cool enough to be like, yo, what up? And they'll be like, yo, what up?
I always say I was with, like, the nerd weirdos.
Yeah.
Loserish. Some kind of, like, on that band, with, like, the ones, like, the black sheep type of crowd. Like,
the outsiders, man.
They
were the outsiders, man. And, like, it's funny that you make reference to the fact that, like, I was the kid that you would have thought would have been class president, right?
You had energy. That energy comes off to you. Even to this day.
It's how I function.
You're like, you got the Carlton. Like, no. You got the Carlton shit, but it's like, I still fuck you up, though. Like,
because my thing is, my thing was I learned how to code switch early, right? Like, I learned that, like, I went to prep school, and I had to come back to the South Bronx.
Okay, so that's what it is off the bat.
Yeah, bro, like, I was out here with all these white boys.
Let me tell you something. When I'm meeting you, the way I am now, I'm very, like, I own into everything. This is another thing I ain't put up there, but, I'm learning. Well, I've learned, but I'm still learning how being yourself is scary to a lot of people.
Yes, absolutely. Big
They that's their insecurity. Like I'm so secure in myself right now.
Right.
Back then I was not.
Right.
I was trying to figure out what to do, who to be.
Yeah,
I was trying to figure out what works.
I get that.
I'm the bad guy. Okay, what do I have to do not to be that and to be accepted?
Yeah.
And I always say, you ever saw the movie Megamind?
No.
Megamind's an animated movie.
Yeah.
So Megamind came out. So Megamind, when I think I told my cousin this shit. Megamind is, he's a kid. He wants to be the popular kid or the kid that gets noticed. The superhero guy comes, takes all that away. So now he tries to be the good guy, and he can't be the good guy.
Right.
He ends up getting pointed as the bad guy. So what did he do? He says, fuck it. I'm going to be the bad guy because I'm good at that. Yeah. I was the asshole because I was good at that. Yeah. I was like, well, I'm good at being this way. So
might as well. What do they say? They say the villain never thinks they're the villain in their own story, right? They never see themselves as the villain. They think they're the hero.
Well, right and wrong, which another thing I wanted to talk about. I just put it up with my other thing. Like, people don't want to be wrong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just put this up. I said people don't want to be wrong. They think it's a bad thing to admit they're wrong or be on the side of what's wrong. Remember, that's like when you ask a white person, are they racist, and they get very protective, like you're trying to snatch that person. What?
Right.
I'm not racist because they don't want to be on the side of what's wrong.
Right. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
They might be, they might not be. So, but they protect that.
They don't want to be viewed that way.
Yeah. I'm like, if you prove me wrong on something, I say, yo, all right, cool.
Right.
I'm good with that.
Right.
I keep that. I keep it going.
Right.
People ain't used to that.
Yeah.
So we were at a time where we couldn't express that type of
that's fair.
humanity.
That's fair. That humanity is real. Like as a human, I could be at fault. You know. Okay.
But the thing about it is, being at fault ain't bad because you get to learn.
Yeah.
And
that's the only way you learn.
Yeah. Like you have to learn. I think people are so stuck in, all right, this is what's right, this is what's right. No, I'm not a part of that. It's like, well, what are you going from there? Yeah. You're going to trip. Even when you get older, you just might not trip as much because you know, but you can still fuck up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Shit like
people aren't perfect. I mean, the only way, you know, in my professional life, I talk about it all the time. I as a coach, I tell people I coach you through failure. I don't like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's good.
Any person who's a champion had to lose enough time to understand what it takes to be a champion. Most winners,
that's why I kind of never liked the Yankees too much. Because they had a spring of just winning all the time. Even when Jordan was winning, I was like, okay. But he's the best, but still.
But what's crazy is when you look at those organizations, you even look at Jordan. Jordan had years of taking L's.
Yeah, but when he wasn't, and he's in your face all the time winning. It's like the Yankees when they had their spring. It's like, okay, I'm not hating on. If you're the best, you're the best. You want to protect that. But if niggas say, oh, they coming out, you going to the Yankees? No, I'm not a Yankee fan just because they're winning. Like,
I can see why that would happen. I get that.
You gotta have some kind of diverse. To me, I'm kind of weird off because I want people to realize their wrongs. Well, from my perspective, and they don't get that. So it's like, all right, I just gotta leave it alone. You know what I mean? You can't force anybody to see some shit that you see already.
Right. If they're not ready to see it.
Nah, they definitely gotta be ready to see it. But yeah, man, I think we went on a tangent. Fuck, I forgot. Let's go into coaching. You talked about coaching.
Yeah.
So what are you doing with coaching?
So I don't like to refer to it as life coaching because I don't want to coach somebody's life.
Is that what the title is?
That's what the industry is referred to.
Is that like some healthcare?
So originally I started off as a personal trainer.
Okay.
Right? And I've been in the industry almost 20 years. So roughly when we shifted off of doing the music, that's what happened for me. I went double down.
So you're saying like 04?
So 04 till now, I have been training people.
Okay.
And then during that, so it was mostly about their bodies. As you continue to do the work, you realize your body ain't going to adjust if you're mentally not where you need to be, right? So then I started training my clients, and you started to recognize that like we have to address issues that they were having that was preventing them from being able to commit. So once you start doing that work, you start realizing that like I have a client here that's telling me, hey, I'm trying to figure out how to make the next move at my job. And they're like, well, based on the things you told me and the things I understand about your character, these are some of the challenges you have, right?
Yeah.
So that would be the conversation. I just kept doing it, doing it. And then eventually the company I was with at the time, they wanted me to be a manager. And basically my job was to take a bunch of people who were either formally working somewhere else or newly coming into training and teaching them how to become trainers. So I had to coach players, right? And I always describe it as I coach players, right? When you step up to me and you say, yo, I want to accomplish something, I'm going to talk to you like you're a player.
Okay.
Right? So like you're an athlete. So I'm going to say, okay, cool. If you talking to me, it's because you're already capable.
Okay.
You already know how to shoot. You already know how to jump, grab rebounds.
All right.
That's not what I'm coaching you on.
All right.
To me, that's what life coaches is. Coaching does. They take people at the most base level, and they're like, I'm going to teach you how to live your life. Some people think differently of life coaching than I do about that. Meaning, like, you know how people feel lost?
So, like, how are they feeling?
So you have a person who will wake up tomorrow and be like, yo, what do I do?
This is kind of motivational.
A lot of life coaching can be that.
Okay.
Right? It can be that.
Okay.
For me, I'm like, you want to win a championship.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do.
So you gotta stay on this person's certain abilities to keep them in that.
That's all I'm doing.
Okay.
Is that you didn't come to me unless you're capable of winning. Right? Like, if you didn't have the skill, if you're not a...
So and then off hinge on that, you have a background of making sure motherfuckers get to that point.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like, so you tell me what your goal is, I say to you, I bet, are you capable of hitting that goal? If you're not capable, don't come to me talking about, hey...
You're wasting time.
Yeah, man, because then you're going to stress me out.
Yeah.
So I started to understand that, like, people who really want to win usually have some skills already in place. So I say, cool, you got those skills. Let's amplify those skills.
Okay.
Let's figure out a plan to put those skills into motion. Which, if you think about what I've been doing the entire time you've known me, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, you just found another way to do it that didn't deal with this.
Just music. It dealt with people's lives
and that whole aspect, you did continue music with Just Cuz, right?
Yeah, and I still continue to have music now. I'm still a performer.
Is that your brother, cousin?
That's my cousin.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my blood cousin.
Okay.
So yeah, JC, we ended up doing what we were doing, and now I still do creative work, and I do stand-up comedy, and I still perform.
Oh, so you not see? Well, I told you he wants to be the editor.
No.
But that's his personality.
No. But what's funny is I have now learned that, like, I don't want to do all those things.
Oh, so what do you want to do now?
I perform for my mental health.
Okay.
That's it. I get on stage and I talk to people.
Okay.
Sometimes I talk with music behind me. Sometimes I talk with nothing behind me.
Okay.
But that's what I do.
And
I've made a living doing it. That's the crazy part.
But you based that off of, you didn't do it per se for the bread, even though it's coming in now.
Right.
But
I just knew I felt the most safe. If I'm gonna keep it on.
You felt comfortable.
No, I felt safe. When I was on stage, that was
two different things.
That was the safest place I could be in the room, was when I was on stage.
I still see, ain't nothing like on stage, man. When you have the opportunity to be yourself in front of strangers and command that type of authority, like, that gives you a rush.
There is a piece of that to it. My thing was, you can't, like, once I'm on this stage, you can't come here. It was literally, for whatever it's worth.
Was it a podium?
No, it was more kind of like a shield. Like, there's an invisible barrier. So, like, when I'm on stage, somebody can't just come on stage and be like, yo, get off stage.
Give me a metaphor for it, as far as you being on stage, it helping with your mental health of some kind, right? And it's also still doing the shit that you would get from rapping or back then, but you're not amplifying that part as much. So what kind of, like, allegory would describe it? Like, you're saying they can't come up to the point where you're at?
They just can't. Once I've decided I'm going to lock into my creative self, right? And I'm just locked into me being creative, I'm in the freest place I could ever be. You have no judgment. You have no determination of whether I'm good or not. It doesn't matter, because I'm free to be creative.
Okay.
Your opinion don't matter in that moment.
But you prefer it on stage, is what I'm saying.
Because on stage is where I create the best.
And you create the best because of what
aspect is driving you to? Is it because it's right there, right now, and there's people there, or that's what I'm trying to get to the source of it?
No, the people actually are probably the least important part of it.
So you, like you said, you could do it with your phone and don't have to have no music. Or
right,
whatever.
but here's what happens. Right, there is an energy in the room.
Okay.
Right, and there's a way when you're really good at using words that people in the room respond to you.
Okay.
So there is that piece.
Okay. Okay.
So I am really good with words.
Okay.
I learned that early in life.
All right.
Right. So when I go on stage and I'm able to show my mastery of words.
Okay.
There's
a linguistics.
Yeah, just using the English language. You know what I'm saying? And
Anglo-Saxon.
you just there's a recognition that people have in that moment of being like, not only are you able to do it, you do it in a way that's so effortless and makes them be like, how do you do that? Right?
Okay.
So there's a fascination that happens.
So there's a high there.
There is a high there.
Yeah, there's a high there.
There is a high there.
So coming from that and sitting back, because I love words. This is one of the reasons. Like, I'm just taking my rapper mind and putting it here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's just what I'm doing. But it seems, though, because that is a high, I don't know. I'm not coming down like you're not looking for acceptance, but maybe the acceptance of some of other people saying like, oh, you're not that run of the mill.
There's a dopamine rush, right?
But do you get where I'm coming from?
No. You're right. And so it's less about like you're above the rest. It's more about you see me. You get who I am in this moment. Any other time I walk in the world, people confused by me.
I always fuck it up. I'm about to reach in the whole background. My father's right here. He's good. The toy just fucking full. You said it's a dopamine rush.
Yeah, it feels like in those moments you feel it. I feel a certain level of acceptance because I feel like people get it.
Okay, so it is an acceptance.
Yeah.
But is it? Does that have to? Is that rooted where you come from, or is it just your personality? I mean, does it have to do with like? Because you're very, like, I was scrolling through your shit. You're very, we have similarities.
Yeah.
We're just on.
We're on the same line, this end of the spectrum, bro. Like, there was a reason why we bumped heads. It's because we were similarly going through.
It's like the prince and the pauper. It's like I'm the pauper, he's the prince, but we're still like, you know what I mean? We still know how to do the job.
Yeah. Sure, we'll go with them.
Nah, that's how I kind of see it. Like,
don't worry.
When you come into an area, when you come into a place, your personality and your voice takes over the area.
Yeah.
To the most part.
Yeah.
Unless there might be a bigger personality.
Yeah.
I do the same shit.
Right.
My voice cuts through. I'm very loud. People hear me all the time. You're more proper with it. I'm not as proper with it. I'm more.
Right, yeah.
I see where it falls.
Yeah.
The way you came up, and I think just because your mindset is like, okay, I still want this, but I want it if I could have it in my way.
Oh, I mean, I think, yeah. At the end of the day, I'm not a person that put it like this. When I think of how to function in space, I never think of conflict as my first point, right? So meaning, I'm always looking at how do I win the room. How do I get right? How do I create the most positive exchanges I can have with the individuals I come in contact with? Because that, to me, that's where I want to exist in. I want to exist in the agreement.
I think
not in the conflict.
I think you want to win the room. I think I want to be the
room. that may be fair, bro.
I think I just want to be like, yo, did you?
Yeah,
I'm fine.
Right.
But no, that says a lot.
Yeah,
that says a lot because I could see that like. I was like, you know a lot of motherfuckers. You've been around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You make your presence known.
I build relationships. That's part of what I need to do.
Smart man. And you see, I always say like the stranger. I always have better kind of relationships with strangers, only because that past shit is not there. So you're able to kind of just be real and see where shit fall from there. It's crazy because like. I love coming in the room and being like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just, I guess because I was raised watching TV and wanted to be Gary Coleman, and I was like, he's the cute black kid on TV with an afro. I could be the cute black kid on TV with an afro.
That's funny. That's funny. Like, that's funny. You want to be Arnold?
Yes. Because in the 80s, he was
the one.
Yeah. Like,
it was either him or Webster.
People look crazy at me. I was like, I was a kid in the 80s. In the 80s, this nigga Arnold ruled this shit.
Yeah.
In the 90s, it was over.
Yeah. 90s, I think, was Urkel.
Yeah, Urkel came in, but by then, you and then Jamel didn't want to be Urkel. He had to meet Stephon.
Right. Nobody wanted to be.
Nah, but back in the day, but at the end of the day, look, Webster won. Because Webster, once he said, I'm done, I'm going to go to Georgia, I'm going to go to college, and then I heard that
he had a new life.
I heard that the ladies loved him then.
He started a whole new life. Now, it's funny you mentioned the thing about, like, the impact of, like, walking into a room and how that energy transfers, right? I didn't make peace with that until recently. So what's funny is, as much as I wanted acceptance, I didn't know how to receive it.
Okay.
So every time.
That's me too.
Right? So there was awkwardness in it.
I'm very questionable when I receive it. I'm like, why? You sure?
Right, yeah.
Because I'm detective. I'm looking for the crack. Like, whenever something comes up, I'm looking for, is this real? Or do I have it? And that fucks me up too, because I'll look so hard that even if I find it, it's like, all right, so I'll just sit back and be like.
There's like a pessimism that sits in all of that.
Yeah, that's what that cynicalness of me comes in, and I'm just like,
yeah, I think.
But it's really a protective thing. It's to protect,
right.
You know what I mean? So
I think now I've finally gotten to a place where I am comfortable enough in who I am and understand who I am. Not only comfortable, but I get him, right? I get him. So it's funny, a lot of people, my government name is Adrian.
Yeah.
If you call me Adrian.
Is the D for David? What's the D for?
No, it's just the first two letters of Adrian.
Oh, that's what you did? Oh, okay.
What's
his middle name?
I didn't even do it. AD was a name that was given to me in high school because I was rhyming with my boy Odie. His name was Odiambo. And so they used to call him Odie, and we used to rhyme together.
So OD and AD.
And that's how it stuck. But that was, if I'm keeping it 100, that was the first point in my life when I started to develop my own identity. And I used to feel, I felt seen. I felt understood. Right? So now people meet me and they want to call me Adrian. I was like, no, I go by AD. Period.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't use Adrian.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's all good. Like, it's all good, but it's recognizing that, one, Adrian is my father's name. I'm a junior. I never knew that man.
You never knew your father?
I never knew that man.
At all?
Ever. Right? And in my family, they call me Junior Junior. They never call me Adrian. So only places I heard Adrian.
So why was you presented? Well, how did your name because of Impact
become what?
Why was I introduced to you as?
Because at that point in my life, people would still. I didn't have enough agency.
You were straight out of school or something.
I mean, he knew me from when we were young. We knew each other from since I was.
Okay, he ain't gonna call you Junior. So I understand.
Right.
Yeah.
So he knew me as Adrian.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? But like, I didn't know enough of myself at that point to understand that Adrian wasn't me. Adrian was a title given to me. Right? So now, do I recognize that Adrian is part of who I am? Absolutely. He's part of my legacy, right? But AD is who I am, who I've chosen to be. How
you built up.
Yes, who I've leaned into.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I know I've had moments recently where, like, I'll meet women and I'll tell them my name's AD. They're like, no, but your real name.
Yeah.
Right. And I'll tell them, I'm like, my name on documents is Adrian. But the name you're going to call me?
Is AD.
Is AD. And I'm like, if it was good enough for W.E.B. Du Bois to be called W.E.B., you gonna call me AD. You all right with it? It's okay.
I mean, y'all abbreviating everything now. Who gives a flying fuck?
Whatever. Listen, if you can tell me which gender you want me to call you, you can pick two. I'll give you two letters that you gotta call me. That's what you're gonna call me.
I guess I'm a trans podcaster. But
Man, so,
that's the clipper. That's the clipper.
Yeah. That's amazing. But yeah, man, it's cool to find yourself in your adult life.
No, it is. I'm loving my 40s too. I'm so much.
And I could tell.
I'm so. Oh yeah, you probably can.
I can see it.
I'm not the other dude that you met before.
No.
Dude.
You look way more comfortable, bro. You look way more comfortable. You look way more at ease with you, which is dope. You know what I mean? That's all you can want for somebody.
That's what it is. It's like I just wish. I guess it is a wish, but I just wish it was easier for people to see that and accept it for themselves. Because things get way more better. Get so much better when you accept who you are.
Yeah.
What works for you, what doesn't work for you, and how to use that to amplify your life.
Yeah. But that what you're talking about is living a life that's fearless.
Did you know that's what I'm gonna name my second son?
Fearless.
That's Fearless One.
That's powerful. That's a very powerful name.
Fearless One.
Wow.
Y'all gonna bite my shit or fuck. Cause I'm good at this shit. I'm good at coming up with all time. You know that. I'm coming up with shit all day.
Fearless will never work for anyone. I'll tell you that right now.
But you know what?
He is never anyone's employee.
Because you know what? I was so mad that I was so afraid for so long.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
I get that.
When you realize, like, yo, this is all fair. And I mean, certain shit is like, I'm not trying to run up on motherfuckers with guns or some dumb shit, but it's like, this shit. I remember one time I got fired from a job and I cried about it. And I was mad that I cried. Like, why the fuck am I crying over a fucking job? But then I was like, I was so comfortable in it. And the shit that happened, I was like, I'll never let something like that bother me again. Like,
see, that's the dope part. You had to have that happen so that switch could click in your head, right? Because you'd be like, that will never happen to me again.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna be in that spot.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. Like, I look back to like all those years, right? And there's times where I've
20 years ago.
Bro, and there's times where I've looked at things and I've regretted some stuff, right? And I've been like, man, I wish I had done it differently. But then recently I looked at it and I said, there was no other way for it to be done. It had to be that in order for me to get to where I'm at right now.
Point.
Bro, if we didn't do it that way.
R.I.P. to Jason. There was some people.
R.I.P.
to Kurt.
Kurt Bugs. You know what I'm saying?
Up there.
And that's the world. We've lost bruhs in this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, while we was trying to do our little rapidy-tappity shit.
You know,
and real life happened.
And real life happened.
Real life happened.
You know what I mean? And people had kids, and people have had divorces. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's real life is still happening. Lifing is lifing. You know what I mean? And so I remember it's funny when I think about losing Kurt.
He was right here when we did the Elmo video. That's why he had that one scene, and Elmo was just nodding.
That's so funny.
He was right there by that wall. I swear to God. I was like,
Kurt
and he showed so much love.
Kurt was one of my first mentors, man. Okay. And it's funny. So for the conversations we would have had, so many of those conversations happened because of conversations I had with Kurt, right? Because he was like, if you're gonna mobilize him, you gotta mobilize. And there's certain things you're gonna have to do. And he gave me the understanding of what it meant to actually assume leadership. And
keep talking. I just gotta make sure everything moving. Go ahead.
He was like, but to like assume leadership means you gotta take what comes with it.
You gotta take all the.
You gotta take everything that comes with it.
All right, Leonardo.
Right. Yo, bro. because once you decide that you're going to be that person, you have to now ride that wave.
I never looked. I was like leading. You know why I never tried to do the leading thing? I never felt I had anybody that trusted me enough to lead them. So I remember one time I was at this job, this high-end fashion clothing warehouse. This is like 2017 or some shit. And something happened at the job that everything went haywire. And the manager was like, yo, I need you to get some of these other motherfuckers and do this, that, and the third. That was the first time someone put me in a position of leadership. I'm 37 at the time. Wow. Like, I'm like, I've never been put in a position of leadership my whole fucking life.
Right.
I never took it, and I never was put in that position. Right. So when it happened, I'm like, all right. Bob just referred to me, and I was like, all right, I know what you good, you handle that. All right, go take care of that. We got the whole shit squared away.
Right.
And I didn't get no gold cookie, or I didn't get no cookie or no snow star, but it got done, and I was like, you know what? I could do this shit. But I was always like, the reason why a lot of shit with music and shit back then, because you know we perform, we kill the verse, kill the fucking show, all that shit. We gonna make a present.
Right.
it's making the people continuously go with you. You know what I mean? Once I was like, oh, if I try to do a party, 5 people might come. I'm like, well, then I'm discouraged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I can't get my people to come out to anything I'm doing,
Right.
it's like, why have I haven't had a whole bunch of people come out to shit since probably the days of, like, I don't know, to be 100. I had people come out there. But I guess it's them believing in that or me or whatever we were going on.
I think in retrospect, what I realize now is that we didn't understand the idea that Kurt was trying to get me to get it, but I couldn't see it.
What was Kurt telling you?
Kurt was telling me it's going to take time. And that you just got to... I remember Kurt telling me, he was like, yo, it takes 10 years for artists to break. And I was like, nah, I don't got time. we can cut that time. We can cut that time. He was like, nah, you can't cut that time. It takes 10 years.
But he's talking development.
Nah, he's talking for an artist to break through.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, but he must mean all that time has to be development.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's not just the development of the artist. It's actually the artist developing into a human and growing as a person.
An artist growing into his artistry and himself and knowing. All right, take someone like Biggie. Biggie kind of, once he figured it out, he kind of got on. That's why he was so He's so confident in how he was doing it.
Right.
He just did it. You know what I mean? Certain artists are just like that. Like, nah, I got it.
Well, it's almost, it's not even that I got it, is that I am it.
Okay.
Right? Like,
okay.
You get to a point where there's no separation between you and the art because they're the same thing.
Okay.
But there's a development that has to happen through that, but then there's a growth that you have to go through as a person to actually believe that this person that I say I am is actually who I'm living up to be.
That little rain shit.
Bro, it's next level.
Yeah.
It's next level.
Yeah.
So, you know, but it takes...
when
you're young, you don't see that.
I didn't get that. I didn't get to that point. I got to that point when I started saying, kill the verse. And I was killing the verse. And that came from... I had did already, the verse on already. Already was the first verse that I kind of halfway freestyled it. I wrote some of it and halfway freestyled it. And the end was freestyled. So when I say, I killed the verse and I say, again, I couldn't think of nothing to say. And I was like, well, everything else I've done killed it.
Right,
so I was just like, let me just express it and I did that shit.
Right.
I remember someone asking me, you sure you want to say that? And I said, yeah. And then when I did that, I said, this is it. I know exactly what to do. And from then, I was 100%, not saying that my stuff wasn't good before, but I was so much more confident in everything else I touched after that. It was just like, I don't hear the white noise.
It clicked.
I didn't hear the white noise. But it took me so many years to get to that confidence of doing that and being that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, kind of was my 10
years. Real talk.
That shit was kind of my 10 years, nigga.
Yeah. It doesn't happen over time. It doesn't happen overnight.
Shit. Almost.
And we touched on most of it.
Boston trip.
Oh, the Boston trip. Oh, man. That was, to me, one of the most iconic parts of that time.
Well, I remember going there twice.
Yeah.
All right, the first time. All right, you. At the time, your girl was on there, right?
Yeah.
And did you have any other connections other than?
I have family up there.
Oh, okay.
I have family up there.
Okay, so yeah, I just remember motherfuckers was like, yo, I think we were at Static Spot. Because things came out of that trip. We was at Static Spot and we heard, yo, we're going. And that's back in the days when niggas just be like, all right, let's go. We don't care. We don't got no responsibility.
Yeah. There was just a mount up and we out.
Just drop to a whole other state and stay out there for a weekend. Yeah, sure, fine, fuck it.
Right. Yeah.
Now you tell me that, I'm like, wait a minute, hold up.
I got to plan some things. Right.
Do I have this ready?
Right.
What am I gonna have?
I think the first time we did it was definitely more kind of like, yo, let's just head out there.
It was like a party performance.
There was a party at a house and we performed at the house party. The second time was one that was like,
I ended up at some girl's
I mean, that means you did what you were supposed to do.
I was upstairs, and I came down. I remember, it was a lot of shit going on.
But you know what it was?
And I seen her the second time I went there too, but then she supposedly had some dude.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, after that trip, which we had fun. Like, we went out there. I think everybody performed for the most part.
Everybody performed.
For the most part, yeah.
And we were just bugging out, having a good time.
Yeah.
That was one of the best times I think we had as a collective during that time. Was that we took a road trip. And we were like, yo, we went out of state to go do what we do and have fun.
And then when we came back, that's when Static was like, yo, I want to flip coming to America. That was the ride back. We went, it was me, Marty, and Static, and we freaking...
Wasn't that when it started, when the beat battle stuff really started? After that trip?
With me going?
No, but I think like
after that,
the timeline, I feel
it
like
might have been, but Static was kind of already, he was already a big name locally anyway, as far as like Static goes with his beats. But maybe it was. I don't know, because I don't know when Rocky started it, but I just remember Mike G.
Mm-hmm.
Mike G always fuck with me. Mike G was probably the only person. If at that time, if anybody was going to be my manager, I would have made it Mike G.
Mike G
fucked with me. Mike G was like, yo, I like Pow Wow, yo. I fuck with him. He was like, yo, fuck with
yo, bro, yo, you know what I'm saying?
But he was straight. He was to the.
That's my man, you know.
I think still to this day, I don't know where he's at, but wherever you at, Mike
shout
G.
out to Mike G.
Yeah,
man.
he was 100% always. He'd tell you straight up, yo, man, I like what you're doing, man. Keep doing it. I was like,
one of the coolest cats.
He was
in the scene at the time,
coolest cat, man.
Yeah.
But I guess it was around that time. But I know Static was the big hog in there. Asa was one of the big hogs in there.
I mean, that's how that happened. They were both grand champions, and they technically were competition to each other. They didn't know each other, and it was from the beat battles that cats were like. I think FaZe might have actually connected the dots.
The beat that I learned. I shout out to Steve, formerly known as Captain Planet. Steve Almighty. That's my brother. You know what I mean? Shout out to Steve.
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
That's my boy, man. I remember the day I met him. Like, listen, it's so much footage. Like, all right, I told you that whole thing about me wanting to get people together to like start a real script to do something for that. But I remember it's so much footage. It's gone or someone got it locked away. When I met Steve, he was just the white boy sitting there at the table talking shit. And I think that's when I used to get suited up with the tie. I had braids back then.
I remember.
I had a whole, like, I was like, oh, I peep what R&R and Impact is doing. I could do that shit too. I remember Static came to me and was like, yo, man, he pretty much was asking if I bid off for R&R and some shit. I was like, no, my nigga, this is just me doing me, but I'm theatrical too. The fuck?
Yeah. We're cast of characters. Yeah.
Yeah, but
that era is so epic.
My
man.
only yo. 04.
And that's crazy. You were 04, bro. I think
that's 04. That's almost 20 years. That's 18 years ago. 18 years ago.
So yeah, I think the beat battles at that point were going 2 years strong.
Okay, about that time. Because it's I think around 2006.
The 02.
It started veering off.
Yeah. Then it became.
But then we was also going to the one in Newark. The MPT.
When it started to expand. Yeah. I remember that.
You know what I mean? And we started doing that.
Right.
But we were looking for more vintage. When it started becoming like you just play any beat for 2 minutes and if it's good. And it was like nothing. It was like, because once I was like, oh, you get to create all. Because yo, it was like on some beat battle. It was on some like not beat battle. It was kind of on some like battle, like rap battle. / whatchamacallit
DJ battle.
Yeah, like you had to like the next battle's coming up in this month, so you would be like, all right, I got these samples, I gotta flip them, I gotta chop them, I gotta see what movies is out. I'm gonna put the movie scenes in there.
I'll tell you like this. One of the things I loved the most about that period was that I could say, and I was proud of it. I was like, yo, in my camp.
Oh, you You had everybody that was
like,
winning.
I was like, we had 5 minimum grand champions in our camp. And what was crazy was that everybody had a different style, had a different approach, and when they came out, they came to perform.
Impact, Arnold, Static,
you,
me, who else?
Hold up, and then Asa.
Thinking about that now,
and then affiliations with obviously B Bandits and all these guys that were just all love. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a crazy time.
Shout out to Ty Phoenix. She was out there doing it in New York too. She came through. She's doing the thing. Yeah, it's so many people you met through all these events.
It was community too, bro. That was the crazy thing, cause like I remember I met Pumpkinhead the first time.
Yeah,
at one of those
he went to buy one of my beats at one point.
R.I.P. to Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, R.I.P.
You know what I mean? So like that was a period where you felt like there was a community still in this hip hop thing, and like I'm sure there's a community now, right? But we just not part of that lane, right? Like I'm not out at drill events. I don't know what that looked like, but you know, but that time, man, it felt like it was still attached to the original essence.
Yeah, but see, that's the early 2000s. Once it started veering to the 2010s, shit got very hazy on everything.
I think it shifted. It evolved. It became more pop. You know,
computers became more relevant.
And the technology was so different.
Remember, I'm PlayStation P.O.
And
so
that was the other thing. Y'all was on PlayStation and Fruity Loops doing it crazy.
Hold up, like I said, PlayStation is the precursor to Fruity Loops.
Yep.
And when Fruity Loops came out, niggas used to play that. They used to be like, "Oh, you making your beats?"
Now they call it FL.
Well, first it was called Fruity Loops.
Right.
Then they wanted to get fly. They called it FL Studios.
Right.
But then it became everybody doing it.
Yeah.
Because Knife Wonder started doing shit on there.
Yeah.
Oh, you could do shit on there?
Well, Fruity Loops ended up making it possible to do a lot of the other stuff you're seeing.
Listen, I'm like a fucking house cat amongst lines when it comes to beat battles. Everybody got an MPC.
Right.
I'm walking up there with a PlayStation and a black and white TV, and niggas are saying, "Yo, I got next on Tekken." So the fuck.
That was a fact.
But it changed once I pressed play on that bitch.
But that was one of the things that made your whole
aesthetic work.
Yeah, man, because it was like this dude is everything about you was counter.
It was the white man can't jump effect. It's like, oh, you got Woody Harris on there. It's like, yep.
That's funny.
Yo.
That was an amazing. And not for nothing, the idea of doing something around that period is epic.
That's why if we could get some heads together,
that's a great concept.
You know what I mean? Because it would be good. Because it has that last confrontational competitive. Like it's like right now that's kind of one of the reasons why music stopped being music the way I want. It was no drive. When I was in high school, the thing was, oh, yo, you heard that verse? All right, tomorrow I'm coming to school with another verse. I got to come to school and spit some fire shit.
Right.
Oh, he spit some fire shit. I got to come and spit some fire shit.
Right.
With the beat battles, oh, that nigga played that shit. Oh, I'm coming back with some
He chopped it
fire.
How did he cut it? How many times did he chop that up?
I'm coming back with some fire shit.
Right.
So now it's like, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
It's none of that. So people ask me, yo, why don't you make beats no more? I was like, I'm not the motivation to make the beat is not there.
Right.
But the creativeness in my mind, I will still hear shit like I would rather co-produce or just oversee some project, because then I could be like, oh, that's good. You could do that. But just I used to wake up in the morning, play what I made last night. That shit fire. All right, I'm gonna make something new. I have some. I got a brand new CD. But that's when you had CDs and it meant some shit. Like it don't mean no shit. So that's kind of why the whole making beats, and shout out to all the motherfuckers that still make beats. They still is in that shit. It's just that doesn't do it for me that it did.
And you can evolve out of that and find something else. You know? And clearly you have with the podcast.
I guess we talked about that. I said, why was I such an issue? But we kind of went. We did all that.
I think we covered most of the stuff up there.
Taco Tuesday. Did we go into that?
Oh no, we didn't actually talk about it. Okay. That's oh no, that was a joke. Did it break? No, it didn't break.
Nah, it didn't break.
Okay.
It just went on his name. That's all right. I drank it.
funny enough.
Cause all right,
Go
so
ahead.
real quick, I was like, yo, come to the joint, do the
Right.
pod, and you was like, yo, come to you have like an open
Yeah.
mic or something. So
Yeah.
train Taco Tuesday how that.
So I was doing a karaoke joint with my peoples out in Harlem.
Okay.
They ended up becoming partners with a spot in the South Bronx.
Okay.
I've never been able to do an event.
Is this the Bruckner area?
Yeah, so
Okay.
the place is called I-9 Bistro.
Is this where they have like the motorcycle spots and all that stuff right off the Bruckner?
It's near there. It's down the
Because
block.
I know a
from there.
lot of people got spots
Yeah.
over there.
It's,
Okay.
it's down the block actually.
Okay.
And so he,
Kind of by the old Fred One spot. Fred One had a spot in that too far.
a little further from there. I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah. Shout out to Fred One.
Shout out to Fred One. That's
See,
another
I'm
name
like-
from the past.
Oh, TME.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
The
man.
DAT tapes.
Listen, he probably still got
You
some.
know, the high eights, bro. We had mad high eights.
Listen, you couldn't get nothing mixed recorded unless you had to come to the studio with a bag of M&M, the yellow bag with peanuts, my nigga. But this is the first time.
That's a different conversation.
No, it's not like that. But this is the time I learned when you have an engineer, you got to
take
make
care
sure
of
that he's taken care of because he does.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But nah, so my man hit me up and he was just like, yo, it's coming out of COVID. We got some in the Bronx. What's up? And I was just like, yo, I've never been able to do something in the Bronx specifically. And I'm a Bronx kid, and like I wanted to start to do things locally. Like I have aspirations of some point looking into going into politics in the Bronx, right?
Okay.
And so for me, I was like, I need to start putting my feet down and anchoring myself in my hometown. And so
Trying to be like do it all from North.
maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do it all.
And so what happened was they gave us an opportunity to do something. I said, I go to Brooklyn all the time for events. I go to Manhattan all the time for events. Why can't homegrown Bronx talent have a place that they can call home? And I remember when Sylvia Rome's open mic, right, and her performances were so big, they would break artists at those events.
Okay.
And so for me, I was like, yo, why can't we have something like that in the BX? And so the venue's beautiful.
Okay.
And it's black owned.
Okay.
And so for me, it was just like, yo, let's create a space for creatives to be creative. And my thing is an open format.
So how's the setup go?
So it's any type of art you do, you can come through and showcase it.
Okay.
And my
is
thing
it
is
set up like an open mic?
It's an
or
open
is it
mic.
Show? Okay.
It's an open mic, and
You get a certain amount of time.
yeah, you get like
It was
depending
like
on
$10 to come in or something like that.
no cover.
No, you just come in and
You
do
just
it.
come in, sign up,
Oh, so you were really just trying.
bro. I want to do something for my people.
Okay.
That's it. Like I don't like. Here's an opportunity for you to show yourself.
Well, it's like a
on your
bar or
craft.
something too. Like
It's a restaurant.
Oh, okay.
It's
So
a restaurant.
yeah,
It's
get
a restaurant
drink.
bar lounge, so you
Okay.
can eat, drink. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, patronize the space.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
black owned. Like,
okay.
why wouldn't you want to patronize your people? You know
That's
what I'm
the
saying?
thing that I don't understand why we so stuck off of. We get stuck off of overseas European gay clothing. We are. Like, let's be honest. I know. I put you in a spot. He's like, no. I'm not answering.
I was like, we were here.
No,
you
no.
like, gay clothing. I was like,
No, it's European. Yeah, I'm not
yeah,
saying
well, no. The reason why is that those brands tend to have.
Why do we?
'Cause they're
And this is
cheaper.
not no disrespect, but honestly, why are we drunk?
Oh, you mean like
you're
the-
not official unless you got this?
Oh, you
And
mean like
I'm
the high end, like they
Yeah.
talk all that? Well, because I mean, listen, the fashion world is real for us. We're plugged into that, like meaning like
we're plugged in where if we turn the corner, everyone else is going to turn the
Yeah,
corner.
yeah.
But we don't. We turn the corner in someone else's car.
yes, and which
We
is,
don't have our own car.
So
in the game.
so someone explained it to me, and they said, what happens when you have people who don't have anything, right? They didn't grow up having anything. They want status.
So they take, yeah.
So when you give them access to something that equals status,
They gonna
that they
roll.
technically shouldn't have. We shouldn't have Versace. We shouldn't have Balenciaga.
But there was
in theory.
There was a time, yeah, in theory, but it was a time where even when that was out, and we were still doing black owned.
Right.
Shit.
Right, but the problem that happened now, well, actually, let me scratch that. There's not a problem. Right now, you have more black-owned businesses and designers in the game ever.
I know, but we're still, the promotion is still towards the other side.
But what's dope is those of us who are plugged, we plug.
No,
right?
no, I'm
So
not
your
saying-
ability to be expressive in your own way now is at a
Yeah,
higher level. Right?
100%.
So like, yeah, mainstream is mainstream. And you can't do nothing about mainstream because they got more marketing dollars. That's really what it comes right down to. They're paying magazines to be able to have ads in their magazines that are saying this is what is cool and trendy. Cool, let them do that. That's fine. But for those of us who are on the ground, I'd rather go and like I'll wear Bronx Native stuff, right?
Okay.
They're a local brand.
Okay.
Right? And I'll go to their store and I'll get Bronx Native gear.
Okay.
And I will rock that all day because why? I'm a Bronx Native.
Yeah.
So it speaks to me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now
so someone's gonna see it like, yo, what's that? Da da da.
One, but also it actually speaks to me. Like I'm wearing clothes, FUBU, for example, right? For us, by us, felt the way when we wore it because
That
literally
like
all that stuff from that time,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But it felt like us.
Yeah.
Now I literally can be like,
I
can
don't want to wear a whole bunch of F and N's on my shirt. Like
so then you don't.
MDs
That's the great thing. You don't have
FNDs.
to.
No, I'm just saying, but yeah, I know.
But you know what I'm saying? Like we're at a place right now where like I get when people are like, but like why? I get the why, but at the same time I don't have to. I have more options now than I've ever had in my life to define myself in terms of style, creativity, ever, bro. So think about this. You're right now. You're creating media, right, off of your cell phone, in your crib.
Yeah.
People used to have to be in studios.
But you also
you know
are
what I mean?
you also are talking to Mr. PlayStation. I took what I had
and you made the most of it.
Yeah.
And
So
that's what it is.
this is, even though I'm upgrading,
Right.
this is still okay. I could do that. All right. I just had to come with the thing of, all right, I gotta do it. I'm gonna do it.
And that's the difference.
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
difference now. Now you have less excuses for why you can't succeed. Because everything is available to you. Everything is available to you. So,
There's less
you know what I mean?
excuses
for you.
for
Yo, if you just want it, do it. If you fail at it, guess what? Learn from that failure, do it again.
See, that's
You know what I'm
that's
That's
the
it.
whole phase.
That's it. But yeah, Taco Tuesday, we're there every
Right.
Tuesday night. We're at I-9 Bistro. If you're an artist of any kind, be in the room with other artists and bump elbows, rub shoulders, whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? I was always big on, I love knowing that there are actors in the room with musicians and musicians in the room with visual artists, because at the end of the day, that actor is probably going to direct something and he's going to need to score. He's going to holler at that musician. He'll be able to fucking score your independent album, your independent film. And then at the end of the day, that artist needs artwork, and you're going to get that independent visual artist to do the artwork for your album.
Two more.
You know what I mean?
Did I ask you this? Why do people want you to agree with them? No, general.
Because people don't want to be alone. People don't want to feel alone. People don't want to feel alone, man. Don't want to
So
feel
they
alone.
want you to accept what they accept.
Yeah. Say you're like me. You're like me, right? Say you're like me. Right? You see it too, and you're like, no, I don't see what you're saying.
That
but
was
it's
that
cool.
was me 20 years ago.
Like, don't you get it? And they're like, I don't get it. I don't get it. But here's what's dope, though. There's always someone out there who does. Everyone has a tribe. Everyone has a tribe.
You're right. You're right.
You know what I'm saying? So
You're right.
even if somebody right now, I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, right?
Mhm.
But like, I know a bunch of people who like, yeah, they be leaning in, and I'll be like, all right, cool. There's
So
somebody
I
that's gonna
just
rock
think,
with it, you know?
because I want to talk. We got
Yeah.
most of everything.
Yeah.
And normally I talk about like some general stuff that goes out. I find that there's a lot of racism under the cuff in the nerd community.
Oh yeah, it's people are pretentious, bro.
They use woke, like they use this word as a code word for them saying they don't like black people in certain situations and women in certain situations.
I
But
think I know what you
that's
mean. I
the
think I know what you mean.
code word for them to get around with they're pushing this woke agenda. And this
Yeah, I know.
40-year-old, 50-year-old white men that are
Well, because what's happening in that moment is someone is telling you, hey, you who thought you could say whatever you want whenever you wanted, I'm telling you that's not cool, and now you got to face that. You used to get passed. Like, you used to get a
Who you talking about?
The white guy used to get a pass. He used to say stuff and no one would call him on it. Now we're calling you on it, and you're like, oh, you guys are so woke. It's like, no, we just calling you on your bullshit. Like, you ain't had, and for me, I always tell people, I like my white people white. I like my white people white.
Oh, you mean you like them open with they shit?
I like them fully being like, I go and I yacht on the weekends, and I fucking want a fucking macchiato, whatever. Be you.
Be you. Don't
Be
try
you.
to.
Don't try to be cool to me. I want you to be you to you.
I have white friends.
Right.
I don't consider them. No.
He's like, I have white friends.
I have some officialness. I might call my guy. Hey man, I need to get out of the jam.
Hey, Chet.
Hey, yo, Chet, with the accent. Listen, did you see the Atlanta season?
Yeah, the last one?
Yeah.
I saw parts of it. I didn't finish all of it.
He's on one episode.
Okay.
You have to see the episode.
Okay.
I'll give you an abbreviation real quick. It deals with West Indian nannies raising white.
Okay.
Like, and how that affects their life.
Okay.
You need to, and Chet's in there.
Okay.
So when I saw that, I said, you know what? It might make some sense of why this nigga's doing it. He might have had too much curry in it.
Yo, you got a lot of these white boys who've been raised by old black ladies, man. Old black Caribbean ladies.
On the teats.
You know. But all that to say, man, I think that underlying discomfort with being called out, to your point before, people not wanting to be wrong, not wanting to be on the wrong side. That's what that is. I'm telling you right now that something you're doing is not cool. That means you're wrong. Just say I'm sorry. I said
these are grown men that are getting everything they wanted when they would have been a child.
Right.
But they're not getting it the way they wanted.
Yeah, because they're spoiled, bro.
Because they're used to that entitlement.
Yeah, absolutely. They're used to the world bending to the way that they want. And it's not their fault all the way either, because
they're used to it. That's how
they were given that.
You're right. All right. Cigar lifestyle, and we out.
Yeah, so I actually, Asa really got me into the cigar lifestyle, man.
I need to get Asa on the wall.
You know what I mean? Yeah, word.
On the wall.
But yeah, man, and so I've started to learn more about it, how to pair my cigars. I'm more of a medium guy in terms of the cigars I like to smoke. I don't do the heavy, but I also had respiratory problems when I was coming up. So like for me, I like to enjoy my cigars.
You never was like a smoker.
I wasn't a big smoker, no. Now if I smoke, it's recreationally here and there.
Okay.
But I enjoy the art of cigar making.
Okay.
To me, there's a skill to blending the different flavors, the aromas, the body, the bouquet that you're creating with the cigar. That to me, that's an art.
Okay.
You know, and so when you come from Caribbean countries, and I'm Haitian and Cuban.
Oh, okay. Oh,
right.
Okay.
So you know what I mean. So that's rum and tobacco and rum. That's us.
Y'all up when y'all drinking, y'all smoking and drinking some shit.
Yo, that's we on that. So for me, if there's a cultural piece to it, there's a historical piece to it. It connects us back to our roots. So I appreciate the cigars from that space.
Okay.
But every once in a while, I light one up and I'll enjoy it and I'll bask in it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't do it excessively because I got locks and them joints stay in my hair, bro.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
you gotta make sure you take care of the main.
You know what I
man.
mean? So if I'm in, I can't go to my lady all the time to get it redone. So I gotta take care of it. I got a standard I gotta keep. You know what I mean?
Anything else you would like to tell the people before?
Man, listen. Thank you. Thank you for the invite. Thank you.
He hit me up. I was doing what I was doing.
But you know what? What I appreciated was when we reconnected, the love that was there made it possible for this to be possible. For us to have this kind of conversation, one. And two, not for nothing, it's therapeutic on both ends. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, this is way overdue.
Yeah. And so
because we literally was like Magneto and Professor X.
Like there was. It's like I don't hate you, bro, but like we just can't always be around each other. And
it was people in the middle of it. But that's what I'm learning that I tell everybody, the last 5 years of my life has been very therapeutic, and I've learned to be myself unapologetically and accept myself. I can look myself in the mirror every day.
Go with you.
No problem what
that's
it is.
Dope, bro. That's
you know
dope.
what I mean? So
that's a blessing.
Yeah. And it was never to the point where someone died or it got bloody or some shit. So it was like, it never got to that point.
No.
It was never really. It was just, young boy ego bullshit.
Yeah, but it's normal. And not for nothing, you learn from that. It makes you better, and then you can pass it on. So like when you have, I have 2 sons. You know what I'm saying? When you have children, like to be able to turn to them and say, hey, I remember when.
How's your?
My son's amazing. My oldest is a producer already.
How old is he now?
He's 10 years old. We've already been in the studio. We've already dropped.
I know you probably already had him in amongst all.
No, you know what's funny is it wasn't me. I let him be. Like it was one of those things where like.
Oh, he just picked up on it.
He just did it on his own, bro. He was on his own, and like to watch him navigate his creative process and remember what it was like for us, and I'm like just watching him be like, wow.
Yeah, these young kids don't know how good everything's so accessible.
Man,
we had to run, jump.
Yo, anytime he's on my phone, if he touches my phone, he's on Garage Band.
Oh,
or something.
he's making.
He's creating all the time, man. So I'm blessed to have 2 amazing sons. They're beautiful, intelligent, and driven kids. I love it. And they're creatives, and I want to continue to support their creative flow better than they created. My family supported mine. You know what I mean?
I know what happened. You have like brothers and.
I had my family's pretty extensive.
Yeah.
Cousins and such.
Yeah,
but like we were all very like.
I remember at the house, I was like, it was a lot.
Yeah. But everything for us was academic. We didn't respect the arts the way I think they didn't respect the arts the way we respect the arts.
Okay, coming up, it's like do this, do that, because like
you
this
need a
works.
job.
Yeah. Go to school, become a doctor,
There were 3 jobs, bro. There were like 3 jobs: doctor, lawyer, or or teacher.
Right.
Lawyer, teacher.
From Caribbean coming up, that's like the main.
Yeah.
Like
you're either a professional student, you're gonna be able to argue really well.
Student?
If you're gonna be a teacher. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was like.
You're a professional student. You go to school to go to school.
That's true.
I
was like, wait, a professional
because we never were cops. Nobody ever told you to go be a cop or a firefighter.
Nah, you might be like Irish or something. Right. They tell you that's their lineage.
Exactly.
Go to other people's culture and bother them.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is the Tinted Horse Podcast, episode 440. Was it 2?
442?
Yeah. 442.
I'm going to play those numbers.
No, go ahead. I jumped ship. I was like, I like 440. We going with that. You know what I mean? My special guest, A.D. Scholar, not A.D. the General.
R.I.P. the General.
R.I.P. That was my girl, too. She was old.
I did not know that. A.D. General passed. I did not know that, man.
Wow. A few years ago.
Wow. R.I.P. I did not know that. Yeah. Me and A.D. was cool, man. I didn't know.
She passed before the pandemic, maybe 2018, 2017. Wow. She passed. It was and this is wow. I didn't know you didn't know because you was in that.
Yeah.
I think I found her because my boy Murdoch was working with her and shit. But it was a big storm in New York one night, and she was driving in it, and she died in an accident. This is a few years back.
That's wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That was the other AD. That was the other AD.
Yeah, I know you had to play off those names.
Yeah, man. R.I.P. to her, man.
Yeah, R.I.P. to AD the General, man. Yeah, I'll come up in the. That's the underground. That's like the.
That was the family.
Man. Damn, they need to do it on a somber note. But I'm thankful for my man coming through.
I appreciate
showing
you.
Love.
Come check out the check out the podcast for sure.
Yeah.
Continue to support it, but come check out Taco Tuesday, I-9 Bistro in the BX.
Right by the Brooklyn.
As a matter of fact, find me online at AD Scholar, ADSKOLAR. Again, ADSKOLAR on IG. You'll find all my stuff on it.
All right. I'm going to tag him. It's going to be that.